Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Robert Sports Show, from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. GCW Save Me 2024. This is from the 18th, which was this past Sunday. This weekend is Homecoming. We have a two-parter, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Some really big matches for those two shows. We have AEW All In this weekend. We have a couple of Wrestling Revolver shows as well this weekend, so a lot of great pro wrestling this weekend. So figure out we continue reviewing the last of the shows of GCW. Again, the last 2 years, reviewed every show. An avid GCW watcher and fan. A lot of great wrestling, a lot of great talent. If you've never taken in one of their shows, Thriller Plus or Thriller TV is where the place to be. Sign up for Thriller Plus. I think it's $7.99 or $9.99 a month. You get the entire library of GCW, among others. Part of that Plus subscription gets you House of Glory and Revolver Wrestling as well. I signed it up for it on Black Friday last year. I've done it for a couple years now. Absolutely great content. All right, GCW Save Me from Salt Lake City, Utah, at the Clubhouse. This is the first GCW show in Utah, in front of about 200 people, give or take. A show doesn't have to have 80,000 people to be a great show. First match, we had Broski Jimmy coming out. He actually came out and cut a promo, kind of crapping on Salt Lake City. Broski Jimmy, since he's been hanging with Matt Cardona, he's been heel and trying to be Matt Cardona. He's not. Jimmy Lloyd, who Broski Jimmy used to be called, he's just a fun-loving guy. But this heel Broski Jimmy is kind of hilarious sometimes. He's taking on one called Manders, who I've compared to a young Bradshaw and his wrestling ability. Good starter match, 6 minutes and 24 seconds. One called Manders getting the victory. This turned into more of a kind of a power-on-power match. Both guys a little bit bigger. Both guys use their weight as their advantage. I gave it 2 3/4 star with one called Manders getting the victory. Next up, we had Gino Rivera taking on JKM. A couple guys who don't wrestle a lot for GCW on occasion. Very talented. Gino Rivera was kind of the heel version of this, because JKM does wear a mask. And toward the end of the match, Gino Rivera pulled off JKM's mask, and we know how the masks are sacred in Lucha Libre wrestling. Yeah, so Gino Rivera just pulled JKM's mask off. Of course, he goes like this and hide his face from everyone. And Gino Rivera was able to get the pin. Overall, it was a pretty good match. I ended up giving it 3 1/4. Next up, we had Blake Christian taking on Marcus Mathers. Blake Christian still recognizes himself as the GCW champion because he was never beat for the title. He was stripped of it because he was overdoing the G1. So we had that triangle ladder match at Homecoming for the title between Mance Warner, who was crowned the new champion because Blake Christian was stripped of the title, and then Joey Janela, who got beat because Mance Warner cashed in his #1 contendership. So Blake Christian, Marcus Mathers, a good little match. It wasn't the fact that Blake Christian decided to start bringing chairs into the ring and ended up doing a couple different chair shots to Marcus Mathers. Yet Marcus Mathers was able to come out of that and did a couple dives to the outside on the chairs on Blake Christian. But at the end of it, Blake Christian was able to get the pinfall victory. He ended up getting 12 minutes and 56 seconds, and Blake Christian getting the victory. I gave that one 3 1/4 as well. Effie taking on Ocean Avery is the next match. 11 minutes and 43 seconds. Ocean Avery, kind of that enhanced talent of a local promotion. Decent wrestler, but this is one of those matches when you see them both come out, you're like, there's no chance Effie loses this. You kind of know who's going to win. Effie ended up hitting 2 Zack Ryders on Ocean's Avery to get the victory here. I ended up giving it 2 3/4 star. Next up, we had a good little Lucha Libre match. We had Gringo Loco and Jack Cartwheel. What really surprised me for this one was Gringo Loco's mat wrestling ability and submission moves. I'm so used to Gringo Loco being that luchador flying off the top rope, because he doesn't look like he would do that. So he looks like kind of almost a mini Rhino, or kind of like the same size as Tomohiro Ishii over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, part of some shows of AEW. So it's like, okay, you're not expecting this out of Gringo Loco to mat wrestle. He's just mat wrestling a guy that normally high flies too. It's like, what? I mean, yes, they both did their dives to the outside and everything, but watching Gringo Loco tied Jack Hartwell up in submission holds, I'm thinking of Zack Sabre Jr. kind of. I'm like, that would be interesting. Gringo Loco and Zack Sabre Jr. So I'm already fantasy booking after seeing his submission prowess there. But Gringo Loco getting the victory there over Jack Hartwell in 16 minutes and 7 seconds. I end up giving it 3.5 stars. Next up, we had Joey Janela taking on a local wrestler, Tombstone Jesus. Apparently, this guy started wrestling like when he was 40. That's when he started. Yeah, he took a lot of brutalness from Joey Janela. I think Joey was seeing Mance Warner because he was hitting this guy with chairs. He had pieces of doors, a trash can lid, a door bridge set up, and every single time Tombstone Jesus was kicking out. I don't know how he did that, but it took 19 minutes and 2 seconds of just chaos for Joey Janela to get the victory here. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was actually entertaining as hell to watch. Next up, we had the JCW title on the line. We had champion Masha Slamovich taking on Starboy Charlie. Just a solid wrestling match. One of those wrestling matches you just watch, you're like, hey, this is pretty cool, entertaining. A little less than 15 minutes. It was kind of, everybody got their normal moves in. They did a couple extraordinary things from these two. Starboy Charlie off the top rope, obviously. Masha Slamovich, just her striking ability. And just a solid match. 3.5 stars. These two went there and just put on a great show. Masha Slamovich retaining her JCW title. Next up, we had an 8-man tag of local talent. There's a local independent wrestling company there in Salt Lake City. Let me see if I can pull the name of it up here. They talked about it on the show, but I don't remember the name of it, to be honest with you. Kind of looking here. I think it's CSW. Yeah, that's the name of it. CSW Colorado Springs Wrestling. Looks like they had a show here. It was a couple of years old that one of the wrestlers here was at. So we had CJ Frost, Mike Burke, Princess Deathwish, and William Cutting taking on Dan the Man, Dr. Theodore Talks, Jonathan Moreau, and Trey Matthews. This was interesting. This is talent that I've never seen before in a promotion I've never heard of before that's local on the main stage of a GCW show. Pretty good little match. I ended up giving it 2 3/4 stars on the tag team of CJ Frost, Mike Burke, Princess Deathwish, and William Cutting getting the victory. I would like to see more of these because there's all kinds of these little promotions out there that you never get to see until somebody big maybe pops in for one match and it's like, oh, so-and-so wrestled so-and-so. And this was a nice little change of pace for GCW. I kind of liked it. So yeah, I'm going to see more of this. But definitely good little match, 2 3/4 stars. Then our main event was for the GCW World Heavyweight title. Champion Mance Warner taking on Manny Lemons. This was a typical Mance Warner match. We had doors, we had chairs, we had trash cans, we had door bridges. Manny Lemons got force-fed a lemon by Mance Warner. We had Manny Lemons getting the holy tar kicked out of him, but you know what? He was able to take it to Mance to a point. But Mance, at the end of the day, with help of Brusky Jimmy, was able to get the victory here, retain his GCW title going into homecoming weekend. I ended up giving this match 3 1/4. So overall, GCW Save Me was a pretty good show. Can't wait to homecoming this weekend. We had some big matches. We got the return of Matt Cardona. We had the ladder match for the GCW World Heavyweight title. So it's going to be a fun weekend. We got all AEW All In from Wembley. We got Wrestling Revolver, got 2 big shows. We got NASCAR races. We got all this weekend. Football starting up. So it's going to be a crazy sports weekend. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.